We pretend that segregation doesn't exist in America, and it exists everywhere in
Absolutely.
America, right? So
Absolutely.
that's the lie when people are wanting to see it up front. But then what is the symptomology of post-traumatic slave syndrome? Because the truth of the matter, it's not a diagnosis. It's not post-traumatic stress disorder, which is treated with medication and talk therapy and any number of other things. Post-traumatic suggests that not only have you been harmed physically, you've been harmed emotionally, you've been harmed spiritually, you've been harmed economically.
Right.
You have been harmed politically. You've been harmed. And that requires more than medicine and talk therapy. That requires justice.
And so I would like for everyone, this here is Dr. Joy DeGruy, and she is an amazing clinical psychologist. She's a doctor, clinical psychology, and she is amazing. Like her work is amazing. She wrote a book called Post Traumatic Slave Syndrome, as well as many other books. And she, here in the video, she's talking about the traumas, some of the traumas that were passed down from slavery. And I just want you to take a look and hear exactly what she's saying, because it is very important to understand the trauma that Black people went through in slavery and how it didn't just end after the Civil War ended in 1865. Take a look.
Hmm.
Healing cannot happen without justice because we'd love that to be it because all they do is put a code in the DSM and figure out how to get paid for injuring us. Are you following?
Ooh, ooh, Doc.
I'm just saying, and so when I think about it on a practical level for those that are your listeners or your viewers, and I want people to start looking at everyday behavior that we've normalized. That is adaptive behavior. It is survival behavior.
You give this example of being at the bank. And you got the little children at the bank. The mother standing there with her little son at the bank, and in the line.
In the line.
Yeah.
In the line. So what, I don't know, I am 67 years old, and I knew where I was in the bank. And when I asked Black people to this day, I said, when you were little and you were in any place of business, not just a bank, but particularly in the bank, where were you in proximity of your parent? You are right next to him.
And if you do not move,
and you try get your, I don't know what the snap is, but the snap is in there. Get your right. Child can't move. The child cannot move. Sometimes they're literally holding on.
Absolutely.
Right?
Listen, this is something heavy she's talking about here. Um, I'm Black, of course, and I know Blacks and Hispanics. I know that growing up, we all share that same experience with our parents when we're young children. When we're out in public, our parents want us to stay close. We can't explore, we can't touch anything. And until I read her book, until I saw this interview, until I heard her speak years ago through YouTube on post-traumatic slave syndrome and the detriment of slavery carried on through from generation to generation, I didn't even understand why our parents did that. And of course, and she's from the generation of my parents. She's the same age as my mother and father, and so their generation, their our grandparents, right? They did the same thing to them. And so she's going to go into why that is, which is so very important. And I want you to hear why that is. And I want you to tell me your thoughts in the comment section and in the chats. I want you to tell me your comments on what did you experience when you were a child? Did you grow up with a parent that prevented you from exploring in public when you were somewhere like the bank or the grocery store or church? Or did you have parents who let you roam, let you speak to strangers, let you touch things that they say, if you can't buy, don't touch it? How did you grow up? Or did you grow up the opposite, like me, Dr. Jordan grew, and most Blacks and Hispanics? Let me know in the comment section.
So this is a bank, the mother, the father, with the little kids in the same bank. They're white children. They rolling around, they sliding down the aisle, rolling on the rings, coming up to you saying, "Oh, that's pretty hair. I like. What's your name?" That's a kid rolling around. Now the Black children are adhered to their parents, but you see something. This is a nonverbal communication now. There's something that both sets of children are learning. Both sets of children are innocent. They're just children. but they're learning. And the black children are learning anger, fear, and shame.
Absolutely.
Right there. Nobody said a word. And it is reinforced. I mean, what's so deep about it is they can't move. Now, the white children are going, they can't move. Something must be wrong with them because they can't move. And then the black kids look and say, it's their world, not mine. Then when we look at the social constraints, because you see, this is not just an individual and one family. We've all been socialized. So now in the back of the line is another black person. They don't know this black mother or father and their children. They get to the counter. Now the kids are little. They're actually lower than the counter and they're under the counter. Now, let me explain something. There is something called secure attachment, and there is a level of comfort in exploring one's environment. That's a
Absolutely.
normal
Yes.
human developmental phase for a child to have a level of autonomy that says, I'm free to move, right? So now the children are underneath the counter. The parent is distracted, dealing with the teller, and the children are trying to escape. So they're sliding. They're trying to slide down because they're trying to actually fulfill that developmental task. You
Right.
see, it's in them to do. But the person in the back that doesn't know the parent sees the little escapees and they give them the eye that only black people can give. It's that stare,
You kn-
right? You and the kid goes, oh man, and they start moving back over. So here is a stranger that got your back now.
Yeah.
Now let's ask the question, why? Why is everyone behaving that way? If you ask the parent, they go, well, they don't need to be running around. They give you reasons. That's where I was when I was in the bank. And what that has to do with is survival.
Yes.
We saw what happened when Emmett Till strayed just
Yes.
a little too far. Just
This is so powerful because no offense to our parents' generation, right? To Dr. Joy DeGruy's generation, our parents' generation, because they didn't know any better. They were doing what they were taught. They were doing what was passed down to them from generation to generation. And so, no fault of theirs, but that is our life, right? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, that's our life. Our parents' trauma that was passed down all the way from slavery, all the way from the Trail of Tears, all the way from the Spanish conquistadors' conquest of Mexico and Central and South America. It has been passed down in our blood, in our DNA, so much so that when you ask your parent, when you're a child, of course, when you were a child, you say, well, mommy or daddy, why can't I go out there? The white kids are doing it, right? And their answer is just what Dr. Joy DeGruy just said, that that's where I was when I was a kid. My parents didn't play that. We couldn't do this, but it's no real explanation on why. And that hurts the development of a child, like what Dr. Joy DeGruy is saying, because children, I'm not saying that black parents have to go and explain every decision they make to their child, but I will say this, that your children should absolutely be a child. Your children shouldn't feel like they can't explore and they can't do what other races of children do, which is create, explore, and like Dr. Joy DeGruy just said, we are kept in a prism of fear and shame and anger. That's what it teaches us, when you see the other races of children doing the things that we can't do because our parents don't let us do it. And when we ask our parents why, they say, well, that's just what the way it is, or you ain't them. And when really, this is the conversation that needs to be had in all of our generations throughout our nation with our people. This is the conversation that needs to be had, that we are the children of slaves, and the trauma that our oppressor inflicted on us still is embedded in our DNA.
being a kid, didn't even do what they said he did. He didn't even say, hey, baby, none of that happened. The woman who claimed that, wrote about it in her book,
Right.
that it was all a lie and they killed him. And so what we have learned is that we aren't safe And that behavior, even when it is safe, it is locked in to our DNA that says we don't get to do that. You see what I'm saying?
It's so real, Doc, because I look at it even with my nephew. I have an 8-year-old nephew, and he has grown up as a free person, a free thinker. And so he has autonomy. We go out, he needs something, he will go up to the server. He's going to get up, he's going to make sure, right? But then there are moments, right, when he's at school, right? And my sister is like, I know you better not have them white folks calling me up there.
Black parents don't feel comfortable going into schools. My daughter did research on it, right? We're triggered. We're triggered walking in there because we remember what happened to us. So when I'm in audiences and I say to parents, I said, you have a child, let's just, middle school, whatever age, it doesn't really matter what age the child is. And you see the child has got a C on their report card. And you say to that child, why did you have this C? And they'll tell you, that's because my teacher, and I don't say the answer, it's because my teacher and the audience all at once says, doesn't like me.
Doesn't like me.
My teacher doesn't like me. We are relationship-based people. That goes all the way back to our ancestors. We're relationship-based.
Yes.
That's why when we walk down the street, all we have to do is that nod.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone knows what the nod means. Perfect stranger in the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
What does a nod mean? The nod means I see you.
I see you. I see you.
It means I see you.
Yeah.
Right? So that is embedded in us. Our children grow up calling, I was calling people auntie and uncle. I didn't know till I was fully grown that they had no biological connection to me. You better put a handle on it. That's auntie.
That's it.
And listen, something else that I find, of course, like I said, she's breaking it all down heavy, Dr. Joy DeGruy, and even the sister that's interviewing her, I forget her name, but this is Black culture. This is our culture, right? That head nod, her saying we're relationship-based people, this is all in the Bible. Like, that is the people of the Bible. We're the Israelites. That's who we are. Do you understand? That's who we are. We give a head nod. We don't even have to use many words. We don't have to use words at all. And we still will connect with each other because of something called soul. We got soul. You understand? Spirit. We're full of spirit. That's who we are. You understand? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. That's who we are, man. And our culture is the same because we're the same people. And because we're the people of the Bible. We're God's chosen people. So-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the Israelites, man. It's that simple. You understand? When you go into videos like this and doctors, professionals, I mean, everything, you're going to see the similarities between Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians and how our culture is the same. If you don't believe me, just go into a Latino community. Go on the res and see. You give a head nod there, they're going to know what you mean. And we're not even from, a lot of us, from the same place. Right? We speak different languages, but guess what? We're the same people. And so we grow up the same. We have the same traumas. We have the same problems, and we have the same oppressor. The point is, we have to come together to overcome post-traumatic slave syndrome. I'm going to let this video finish out. I'm going to finish up with my final comments. And I want you, as always, I would like for you to put your opinion, any questions, comments. I want you to put them in the chat.
My grandkids were here, they'd call you auntie.
Yes. Or
right?
Miss so-and-so.
Or Miss.
Or Miss.
That's right.
Because my sister be like, she don't eat lunch with you at the school. That ain't your friend. That ain't your home girl.
That ain't your little friend.
That ain't your little friend. That's Miss so-and-so. That's Mr. That's Mr.
That's right. You're gonna, because it's respectful,
It's
right?
respect,
So our
yeah.
children grow up in that and they go to school and they're ignored. And it hurts them. And they don't even have the words to articulate. They're only 4 or 5 years old. And all they know is, I'm reading you, looked at, a huge number of teachers. I think it was 126 teachers they looked at, preschool. And what they wanted to know, they told the teachers that we want you to look at this room full of children, and we want you to point out any potential problem you might see there, any potential problem. Where the deception is, there was no problem behavior going on. They wanted to look at the trajectory of their gaze. They wanted to know, where did they look when they expected bad behavior?
Oof.
And of course, it came out the same way we understand of all these kids that are getting expelled or kicked out. They look specifically at the black boy.
Absolutely.
They look specific.
Did y'all hear that? Just what I said. We have the same oppressor, right? Our oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of. And the study she's referring to, you can look it up on YouTube. There's a video that I believe Dateline NBC or MSNBC did a year or two ago, where they uploaded the video on all of their on their website and on YouTube and on social media, and pretty much is verbatim what Dr. Joy DeGruy just explained. They lied to the teachers so the teachers could see, so they could see where the teachers are going to look when bad behavior is present in a classroom. And they had children of all races at one table, and they are preschoolers, which are 4-year-olds, 3 and 4-year-olds, and they're all at the table, different races, and every last teacher, both white and black, looked at the black boys. That is socially engineered oppression by our oppressor, the so-called white man. He has built a system, created a system of oppression throughout our generations to keep us down. That's why it's so important that we come together, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, and we serve the Most High God. We can absolutely overcome the fear, shame, and anger that our history through pain and through oppression has put us in, and that we've suffered for over 400, 500, 600 years, and we can overcome it. But we have to overcome it with the Bible. Let me know what you think in the comments, in the chat, please. Shalom.